people who have been keeping track of my progress. Here we have the left window, which doesn't wind down the entire way. Alright, so notice this one here is coming across, and then it's got its little joint and then comes up where it joins onto the window mechanism. It's already got this piece welded in, so that's a good thing. Anyway, so we'll come across and look at the one that works properly. And notice how it's up and then it goes down. So yeah, I just got to switch that around and hopefully all is well. Alright, cheers people. Hope you've enjoyed following it so far. Okay, Mercedes W123 series of cars. This is the rear left window. It wouldn't go down properly, it would get stuck halfway. My little problem was a little different than what I thought, but this little arm had slipped and gone up to the top instead of staying underneath. The reason for that was, see this little golden coloured tab that's on the other side of the little arm? Well, that had bent out of shape. So I had to take it out, bend it back to shape and reassemble. To do that, what I needed to do was undo these two silver screws here, that screw there, and another one which will be visible just now, that too, which then leaves you to take out the clip, the other way, and then you take out the clip, which then leaves you with just this one and that bolt there to take undone, and then you can take the whole plate out. So it's a little fiddly, and it might be advisable to get a helper to hold the glass in place so it doesn't just drop and smash. But other than that, I suggest re-lubricating all the surfaces inside here and you're done. Alright, I hope this has been helpful to someone. Cheers, bye. So, this is why the window wasn't going down all the way. It's a little bit out of shape. As you can see in these couple of pics, I've bent it back into shape using a bench vise. I didn't want to hit it with a hammer just in case I killed it, but it came out pretty good. Alright, so you got all your pieces down there ready to go back in, and you got your piece all nice and squared out, maybe welded in some little reinforcement or whatever. So the orientation is this way when it goes back in, and this hole and this little one, they're the ones you use to fasten it in to the bottom of the window. And see how she does now in, so just, you know, give it a little turn and she goes in nicely, and hold it up and screw it in. Having a helper here really helps to hold the glass in place from the outside of the car. And also a little suggestion is to pull the little switch out of the door and just put the arms in a way that works for you. Alright, so this is the orientation that goes with the arm up, and then the little extension from the pivot goes down, and then you clip it in with your new C-clip. Fits in a much better spot. And don't do the mistake I've done in that putting this guy to the left. Alright, because now when it's time to put it in place, it can't get through, so set it to the right. And yeah, so she's greased up very nicely. Alright, so if you find your way in that situation where this is stuck on the left, what you can do is take this little guy off, raise the window with this panel still attached all the way up to the top, and then this guy will actually go underneath and around, and you can get this one in place. So now it's time to get the little white sliders installed. So they go in like this, and make sure the little sliding part is facing towards the center and it's orientated correctly. Alright, so this is the way they are orientated. Little sliding section towards the middle, and they're angled on the outside. So when you're ready, you flip it over and join it in on this guy here. So yeah, one of these goes around there, and there's another screw behind here, bolt hole, and another one goes here. as you can see the 2 holes there for it. You just need to maneuver the window in the spot. Like I said, preferable to have a helper with this part, but it can be done solo. Alright, when reassembling, this is how I like to do it, is you get the first one, you slot it into a space there, and screw it in. You can't hold everything in place, it's just impossible. So you get one side loosely screwed in, and then you get this one in the right orientation, and you slide it into. So yeah, make sure this one's quite loose so this guy can move back and forth as needed, because as you can see it's inserted, so there's a little bump on the other side. Get this in the right orientation like this. Clip it on so it slides down and into its section. Now to get the second one installed, the holes might not line up, so you may have to push the window up or use this guy, or just get your hands and maneuver it into place with your helper perhaps, and it should go into place fairly nicely. And then you can loosely screw it in so then when you try and do the other ones just up here, it's loosely in the right place and you have some wiggle room to get everything just started. Alright, to get the second one on, you need to disconnect the arm here. I got the one on the right done first because I felt that that would be more difficult with coming in line with things in the way a little later. Now to get the last one on, I found it easier to push it almost all the way up to the top, so the bottom one guides this to be in the right. And as you can see, the last hole is almost at the very top, so yeah. Alright, now it's time to screw all 4 of them down and re-lubricate everything from what I've come off onto my fingers. Alright, so they're all done up. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on there. And yeah, just move that all up and down and see if we need more. Apply as needed, and always best to apply slightly more than you think you need. Alright, so I haven't put much on, it's just mostly all smeared, but the most important is the actual sides, because that's where more wear happens on the little plastic guides in between the metal thing. And also make sure you put proper grease on all the cogs in there, and you see this one I'm pointing to here, that needs to be cleaned out, that entire rod, and more lubricant, and everything needs to be put in there. Personally, I would use a mix of the CV or molybdenum stuff that I've got here. Note that key ingredient, and also a little bit of high temperature ball bearing grease. A mix of the two so you cover all bases and it'll never go dry or powdery. Alright, so I've filled up all the mechanisms with the nice molybdenum grease, but also a tip, the back of this guy here where the pivot points, so less friction, and that way you have less chance of it messing up in future. However, make sure you clean out the C-clip section so that way it doesn't slip off easily. Alright, when it comes time to put on the clip, I like to use one of these. So right behind the clip, and then this one goes in on there and it clips together very nicely. Just goes clip and snaps into place really nice. Alright, and now give it a few test runs. All the way at the top. All the way to the bottom. And she goes all the way, meets the top nicely. Now it's time to clean off all the marks everyone's made, you know, you and your helper, and start putting things back together.